Certainly opinions.
But I mean, I don't know why I am the way I am. It just happens, doesn't it? You know, I don't like killing a fly. No one would stop me if I did. But there's something in me that goes, don't do that.
Right, so this is a very important theory, because you're basically saying, well, you could be saying one of two things. You could be saying that goodness is innate.
Not likely.
No. Or he could be saying that there's a morality that transcends rules and society pressure. Whether or something's legal or not doesn't mean that you have to do it because it's legal, and it doesn't mean you don't. Yeah? Is that the one you meant?
That's what I meant. There was a bit of trouble in our yard the other day.
Right.
Between a wasp and a cricket.
Now the thing is there any point to this at all, or are you just going to tell us you saw?
Are you going to extrapolate some analogy from this?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's see. So there's a wasp.
Yeah. Well, so look at the whole scenario. As
you said, sorry, just to clarify, as you said, it was kicking off.
Right. Okay.
Scenario.
So you're looking out your window.
No, I'm in the kitchen by the sink.
Yeah.
Washing up. We've got a new sink. We've got a dishwasher as well. But I said, well, I'll use a sink. We paid for it. Let's give it a go.
So you're like a Luddite threatened by the technology. You're thinking your worth will be taken away. Your reason in the world will be taken away by the dishwasher. So no, Suzanne, we've got a dishwasher, but I am going to carry on. You're going to need me. I want to show I'm needed.
I wanted to use it. It's like, I don't understand that if someone's got a really nice car but they have a chauffeur. Drive it. It's yours. Enjoy it. Enjoy your car.
Well,
feel a gear change. Yeah, but you don't drive.
No, I know.
Yeah, so that's all right. But what I'm saying is, I've got a sink, I've got a dishwasher. What am I doing? If I put the dishwasher on, what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit down and do nothing. Probably. Wash up then. Do something useful. I do a better job than the machine does.
So get rid of the machine altogether then?
No, because sometimes I might want to go for a walk or something.
Well, why don't you go for a walk all the time? It's good for you.
I've had a walk in the morning. Anyway, so I'm washing up.
That was all the prelude to the wasp and the cricket story. It better be fucking good to top that.
His life's so complicated. For a man who does nothing at all, right? His life is so complicated.
No, because it's the same thing. The kitchen's fairly new.
All right, you're washing up.
Okay, right, you're using a new sink. The dishwasher's there. It's not doing anything. It's not even plugged in. It's pointless. What's going on?
I'm washing up the few plates.
Right.
The kitchen door's open.
Right.
Suzanne says, "Oh my God, look at that."
What?
There's a wasp and a cricket having a wrestle. I've never seen it before.
Right. Wait. Are you sure this wasn't Mexican television and it actually was a sporting event?
Dressed up.
Yeah.
So they're there wrestling, and I was like, "Well, stop them then." So
Stop! Whoa! You don't interfere with fucking Rosa Parks. Why are you interfering with a wasp and a cricket?
Because one, I didn't even know they didn't get on, to be honest.
So this is much bigger metaphor than black and white.
Because listen,
this is more important than apartheid and segregation.
Because I didn't even know they didn't get on, to be honest. Because they were sort of wrestling. I said, and my hands were wet, so I couldn't do anything. I always do it with a fairy liquid.
Yeah, sure.
So she's there. I say, separate them. Now, so she uses a tea towel, flicks them.
Clever. Good thinking.
The wasp goes its own way. The cricket's sort of jumping about a bit.
But who was fighting it?
So I'm sort of saying that is really weird, because wasps are changing quicker than anything else that I keep my eye on.
Okay, well that's just your theory and it's not based on anything.
Well, I told you a couple of years back I saw one eating chicken. I shouldn't be doing it. So anyway, so now they're causing trouble with a cricket.
Whoa, how do you know it was the wasp fault? This is prejudice. Why do you think it was the wasp fault? What if the cricket would have started it? What if the cricket's got a society to go, we hate wasps, we hate their stripes. We hate them. If they come in, fight them. If everyone comes down here, fight them. How do you know it wasn't the cricket that started that?
Well, I suppose at that time I didn't, but since...
Oh, subsequent information.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay,
so anyway,
like Columbo, isn't it?
yeah.
So I saw all that, we broke it up, the cricket was sort of shaking a bit.
Definitely not! Definitely not!
It was shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I sort of prodded it, put a little leaf over it because it was a hot day. Little pot of leaf there so it doesn't get overheated.
I love this, like it's done a marathon. It's got got Mars on the leaf, written on the leaf, and now it's just walking over with a little medal.
So Suzanne, I'd leave it for a bit.
Leave it. What did you say?
Half an hour, but left it for half an hour.
What did Suzanne want to do? She wanted to interfere, did she? What did she want to do? Just sort of like...
She just sort of said, leave it, stop messing with it. It's probably a little bit knocked out, a little bit stunned.
Sure, let's get on with our lives, she said. Yeah.
So I put the leaf on it.
You've got in too much very liquid. Why don't you use the dishwasher?
We go.
Costs us 400 quid, you dirty bald cunt.
So we go off, and half an hour later, I get back in and I said, I'm going to go to the
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Just for a walk.
But hold on, why didn't you put the dish in the dishwasher and go for a walk? I don't understand. So now you're... now as a dishwasher sitting there bone idle, you're washing up when you could be walking, and then you're still
It's a good job I didn't go for a walk though, wasn't it? Because how would that have turned out?
That fight?
I don't know.
There would have just been a pull up on your back door.
So I've been out, back in, have a look. Cricket's still there. Noticed one of its legs gone.
Oh.
Don't know if the wasp did that or the tea towel flick.
Or it was already disabled, and that's why the wasp thought this is an easy one. What if the wasp was helping it?
It wasn't, no, honestly.
Well,
it was such a commotion.
Because we're such friends and humans don't understand us and anyone interfered, we definitely don't understand us, right? He's not an entomologist.
Well,
right?
this is when I got the computer out.
Right.
Had a look. And it's a... what was it called?
Brilliant.
I can't remember. What happened is, the wasp, apparently, does this a lot. And it stings him in the head.
Right, not this particular... There wasn't like a little profile of this particular wasp.
It's just an incident that happens a lot between wasps and crickets.
Right.
So it stung it in the head, and what happens is, it's that whole thing that we talked about before, where it lays an egg.
Right.
So I was sort of having a look, seeing if I could see any sort of holes in its head. And it just kept sort of moving its one leg, like, oh, I can't handle this. So
what do you mean moving its one leg?
It was sort of just moving its one leg quite slowly, like it's just come out
got
from
one
an
leg, but
operation.
it's lost one leg, you said?
Yeah, it's lost one.
Yeah, it's moving 5 legs slowly.
No, it's just this one big one.
We've got one big leg.
One big leg at the back now. It's normally got 2 that it uses to jump.
Oh, I see. So, okay.
So it's now it's only got 1. It's sort of like, oh, it looks groggy.
Is it not a grasshopper if it's jump? Is it not? What colour was it? Was it like...
Sort of beige.
Oh, it's probably a cricket, yeah.
So anyway.
Important.
So you were worried that crickets aren't aware of the dangers of wasps? You did a bit of leafleting amongst the cricketing community?
I just had a look online and saw that, it's a popular thing that happens. It's sort of like a bit of a mugging. He said you can leave them for about half an hour. They normally come round and they don't know they've had an egg put in their head. But
there's no way it said leave them for half an hour and they come round and they don't have an egg put in. There's no way it said
that. Well, he said they normally stun for about half hour.
Have you had an egg put in your head?
Like an ostrich egg, by the way, it's coming out the top.
So anyway, I picked it up, I placed it under a little tree. I said, it's in the shade again. No wasps can see it there, let's just leave it.
But you've just left that cricket to now die in agony when that maggot goes round his head and comes out a wasp and leaves the carcass.
Well, this is when Suzanne came up and said it wasn't moving. I sorted it.
What do you sorted it?
You sorted it.
What do you want to say? What do you mean?
Well, I said, what do you mean you sorted it? She said, it's best that I don't tell you.
Right, sorry.
She said she sorted it.
Wait. Do you think that we're in the mafia and we're being wiretapped? Say what happened.
No, well, she just said she sorted it, and I said, what, sorted what? Because I'd forgotten about it at that point, I was painting. And she said the cricket.
Right, what do you think she meant by sorted it?
Well, by the look on her face, the way she said it, I've known her for long enough, so I know that she meant it's not good news.
Yeah, so what happened?
So from that, I took for granted she means...
Say it!
I've stopped it being... it's no longer in misery.
So what do you mean?
What?
What did she do?
She crushed its head. Because she said it was moving.
What, specifically just the head? She just crushed the head?
With a stone.
She got a tiny head-shaped stone and...
squashed it, because that's where all the action is, isn't it? So she said it was too cruel watching it sort of shaking about with its one leg and stuff. You had to kill it.
I had this vision that one day Suzanne just having to say to his parents, I sorted it. I had to put out of his misery. I just couldn't bear to see the twitching anymore. No, you didn't like to know, but I just took a rock.
Yeah, and just squashed its head. What was in it? There was nothing. just caved in.
Was there an egg in it?
No. It was like when you would get a blown egg and then you crush it. And there was nothing. Nothing in it at all.
But I just think he seems happier. I'm certainly happier.
I was happier because I'm much happier because he's sort of he's more sensible without the head.
Yeah, we're still happy together, but now we use the dishwasher instead of him washing up when we've already got one that costs £100. What metaphor are you taking from this?
Just the way...
Yeah, so that's at the beginning. There was going to be a point you were going to extrapolate for this, like a fable. So what did you learn from that?
I thought I was doing right at the time. And
Well,
that's important, isn't it?
And is it objective or subjective? You know, one person's evil is another person's good. Some people think abortion is the worst thing you could do. Others think it's a woman's right, and it's a kindness. Some people think that you should never kill under any circumstances. Other people say that some killing is morally right. Again, should an action be judged on its intent or its result? If someone said to you, "Oh, I thought I was doing a good thing," but you know, they opened the windows and your cat fell out. I thought they didn't even know you had a cat.
Did they knock it though, or did it just jump out?
It just jumped out.
Well, I'd say it's not my fault. Your
No.
cat's daft.
No.
It was hot in here. I've opened the window.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not getting the blame for that.
No, that wasn't my point, was it? That if you open the window, right, and they come home and you go, "Oh my God, the cat's jumped out and killed itself," you go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I opened the window because I wanted to let some air in. I was doing a good thing."
So did I know it jumped out?
No.
I'd probably say, "You sure that you didn't do that before I got here this morning? Did you have the window open?"
Right.
I don't think looks like it's been there a while.
So
That's a bit
already,
hard.
you instantly don't want to be culpable for your own actions.
I mean, it is
Hang
your
on a
fault.
minute, it wasn't me who did it.
It is your fault the cat's dead.
yeah, it's an accident, but nevertheless it's still your
No,
fault.
if it's definitely me, yeah, I'd say, yeah, it jumped out. I opened the window because it was hot in here. The cat jumped out, dead. Let's go and get another one.
Right.
I wouldn't worry that much about a cat.
Right. And what if it was a baby?
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Carl, I'd like to ask you, if I may, stop twiddling that. Now, this is interesting, because you were fiddling with a bit of plastic there, and it was annoying me, and I know a lot of things annoy Ricky, get very infuriating for him. Social etiquette. Now, that's that's not obviously inscribed by law. These are just things which have built up in society. So, for instance, it's impolite to sneeze and then shake someone's hand.
Yeah.
It's...
Or sneeze straight in their face and go, "Oh, sorry, I've got swine flu."
Now, those things are obviously good practice in terms of avoiding the spread of disease, so that makes sense. But other things
Also,
are
it
more
could be
arbitrary.
disgusting. If someone hasn't got a disease, I don't like to see someone sneeze on the pavement or sniff or scratch their arse.
So social etiquette, I mean, how do you decide... I mean, what prevents you from being truthful and honest at all times?
I don't know, there's something in you, and sometimes you can just pop it out, can't you? I've been in a situation when I've said stuff and I've thought, why did I say that?
Go on.
But it's not always... in the dentist. Last time I went to the dentist, sat in the reception bit, big fat woman comes up the stairs, massive she was, had a right sweat on.
Right.
She gets there and...
Out of breath.
Yeah, she was, again, you know, I mean, she was friendly, dead friendly, but kind of like, you know, leggings on, sort of, you know, shoes but not on properly. She was stood on the heel.
Yeah,
You know, like she couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's like greasy hair. And she went up and she's been all happy and everything. And I think that's what annoyed me. So when she sort of said, "Oh yeah, I've lost weight," she was talking to the woman behind the counter. And she sort of said, "Yeah, I find it really difficult, especially living where I live and having to come down this high street because there's so many cake shops and everything." And she sort of said, "You know, today I've walked past, normally I always have a coffee and a donut, but today, you know, I didn't have a coffee and a donut." And I just said, "Why was it shut?" Right?
No, you didn't.
I did, honestly. Honest to God, on my mum's life. I said, "Why was it shut?" She said, "Oh,
Hold on, why did you butt in? She wasn't even talking
honestly,
to
I
you.
know, it's really, really weird. It's really
Did you have
weird.
to shout across the dentist waiting room? Or were you
No,
stood
it was
next to it?
it's a small waiting room, so you got the stairs, you go in, you've got about 4 chairs, and then this old desk, and I get on with the woman behind the counter, and I always sit close to it, and it was just me there, and I was talking to her about going to Corfu or something. She comes in sweating like some bison up the stairs, and she's there, and because she was showing off, and it was like, well, you should have done it a long time ago. I think she annoyed me that she wanted some sort of pat on a big hefty fat back. That she hadn't bothered having a donut that day. Now, maybe it's the inner me that just came out, because I remember saying it and actually getting home saying to Suzanne, oh, I said this, and I didn't even think I don't know
I know
where
what you
it
mean,
came
though.
from.
Sometimes you want to go around with people and they're going, you want to put them down. You want to go, I'm stopping having you because you're going to go straight back to that and do this, that. You know, I know you've had a lot. Just inject them in the head. Absolutely pointless. Get rid of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. But talking about social etiquette, I was in flying to Edinburgh, and I was with Matt, my assistant, and there was a bloke on a mobile phone across the way. Right, he's going, yeah, I'm just going to get on the plane now. And he kept talking that loudly to people, right? And I was fuming. Then he stopped and made another call. And I was giving him dirty looks, and Matt was going, oh, sit down, son. And then he was going, hiya, in the airport. And I shouted, he's in the airport. He didn't notice. I was shouting over. I was fuming, and Matt was just getting so embarrassed.
Well, they don't see it, then.
People were looking at me like I was the mental case.
Yeah.
But it was so fucking loud, and I moved through to another place. But I wanted to get someone. I wanted to be policed. I want to go, right, there's a cunt over there swigging beer, thinks he's a fucking Gordon Gekko player, and he's not. He's some cunt who's got his first mobile phone. Right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is infringing. That's like passive smoking to me.
Yeah.
It annoys me when you hear these awful middle-class parents talking to their kid loudly enough to let everyone know what their kid knows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They bring up conversations because they're showing off about the kid. Toby, what's that you were saying earlier about you preferred Beethoven to... Right, okay, if that kid talks about Beethoven and Chopin, right? Do you know what I mean, though? It's like people showing off, thinking that the world is interested in everything they fucking say. That thing about everyone's got access, which is fine, but it's those fat fucking morons on docu-soaps that go, I speak as I fucking think, you useless fucking blob of shit.
Yes. Have an education, research, think, discuss, then offer your opinion.
And stop your kids chewing on a fucking big ball of fat. Your leg.
Got someone specific in mind, mate?
Well, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the Ricky Gervais Guide to Society. I think we've sorted everything out there, Steve.
Yeah, not many questions left unanswered.
No, that's a pretty in-depth analysis of what society is and how to improve it, I think, in many ways.
So some of the big people are listening, Brang, Obama.
And they go, okay, what's Pilkington saying? Keep out of it, unless it's an insect. So it's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And from the little round-headed simian type thing we call Karl Pilkington. The next audiobook in this series is the Ricky Gervais Guide to Law and Order, and that will be available from the 1st of December. Easy date to remember. World AIDS Day. I knew it wouldn't take off like Christmas.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed.
Welcome to number 2 in this second series of the Ricky Gervais Show. With me, Ricky Gervais. Hello. Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Well, I've been away. I had a little bit of an express tour of America, LA and New York, and they're all talking about one thing out there. Karl Pilkington.
Really?
Yeah. I hooked up with the Simpsons lot. They all listened to it on their iPods. I went down to the American office to keep an eye on, things.
Check it.
Well, as we get money for old rope doing next to nothing, I thought I'd show my face.
Yeah.
They're big fans, Karl. I met up with Jason Bateman, Arrested Development, and he knows how stupid you are. David Letterman knows what an idiot you are. Mentioned on the Letterman show. I mean, unbelievable. David Bowie listens, and they're all listening to little Karl Pilkington. When I think of people like that, like pretty much geniuses in their field.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But when I think of Bowie listening to it, I still think of him as 26, dressed
He's dressed as Ziggy.
Yeah.
With a pair of those big 70s headphones.
Yeah, it's going, hey, Mum, can you turn the TV down and listen to Pilkington?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love his kooky outlook on life. And Christopher Guest. Now, Christopher Guest empathises with you a little bit because obviously everyone else sort of knows how stupid you are and not understanding concepts like, you know, the infinite amount of monkeys. But he empathises with that because he thinks that sometimes he thinks that he sometimes doesn't understand concepts that seem obvious to other people. However, I think he's being polite. I don't think you've got a lot in common with him because he did all that other genius stuff. You know, what you did was do the washing up with your pants pulled down slightly. You know, it didn't have the same effect to say...
It's not been as influential as Spinal Tap.
Oh, wait, for government.
No. Unless people... maybe that's flipping the nation now. Maybe if someone sees someone nude in a room opposite their house, they immediately get their cock out.
They go, genius. That's genius. Well, I did an appearance at the Oxonian Society in New York. It's a Princeton College run event, and they have, like, academics, artists, political figures. They have... heads of industry, they had world leaders, they've had Prince Hassan of Jordan, and there was a Q&A afterwards, and one of the questions was, is monkey news coming back?
Yeah.
In that sort of forum. I mean, it's...
I believe they also asked that of Bill Clinton.
They did, yeah. Now, Carl, is monkey news coming back?
I mean, maybe. It depends what goes on out there. It's going to be quiet, isn't it?
On the monkey front?
Yeah, you know, I don't know if they're aware or whatever that's being covered, but it's just like, you know, there's no point. You can't make news, can you? All these news channels, that's the problem with it. They've committed to saying we're a news channel. You've got to find news. Well, don't do it like that.
Sure.
I'd say put something else on. If there's now what's going on.
Cartoons.
Just.
Is there often no news in the world on the planet Earth with 6 billion people? Is there ever a day when they go, no, nothing?
But I'm just saying, the news is. What is it, about half an hour long?
There's news channels that are 24 hours. But yeah, you're thinking of one specific news programme that's on in your house.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's half an hour. How much of that?
No. Because you don't. I've told you that not all news programmes are half an hour by definition, but you go anyway. It's half an hour. Again, you didn't listen to me. Why do you think all news programmes are half an hour? They're not.
I'm just saying. How much of that do we actually need to know about?
But we don't need to know about any news. I mean, outside sort of dangerous situations, it's interesting. It's entertainment. People want to be aware. People want to be hooked up. I mean, I don't, watch the news much or read papers. But it's funny when I'm away, I do. I suppose it's because you want to feel connected with what's yours. It's that feeling of being part of society, isn't it?
No, but there's places. Say like there's places where they don't have telly, right? And they're not watching the news. They're still getting on with life.
Yes, they are.
And they're bogged down with their own problems, which is the way it should be. Say, like at the moment, I've got a leak in the bathroom. Right?
Have you?
It's doing me head in. So I put the telly on to get away from all that. And you put the news on, they go, there's a bad weather in what's it? You go, oh, don't tell me that as well. I like it when you hear about inventions that are coming out, or stuff they're doing in science.
But you told me the other day that you thought everything that needs to be invented has been invented. Something they said in 1900. But, so what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they are sort of playing around now. Like they said they've made like a heart now that can be bunged into a body if yours isn't working and keep you going.
But why is a heart that you can bung into someone to save their life? Why is that a bad thing?
Just because it's another thing, isn't it? We're meant to die from the year dot. Things live, you have your bit, you knock about, and then you die. If you're going to live forever, how do you plan stuff? Right? That's the way I look at it.
Sure.
You sort of go...
How big would your diary be?
Well, that diary would become intimidating, wouldn't it?
This is what I'm saying.
You have to fill that in for the rest of eternity.
And you get bored. You get bored with living forever. And,
But I agree with you.
You get bored of people. You'd have to keep making new mates, wouldn't you? Because you'd have discussed everything by the time you're about 110.
110?
So it's kind of like...
Carl, you have the same concepts that you worked out and decided that were true at about 10, I think.
I look at life like a big book. Like a big book.
Right, okay, yeah.
Right? And, sometimes you get halfway through it and you go, even though I've been enjoying it, I've had enough. Give us another book.
No. Your metaphor, analogy, whatever you're trying to create there, falls down with let's have another book.
Yeah.
No. You can either opt out of life or stick with it till the end. You can't go, be someone else now. You can't do that. I know you think you can. And I think in your world you can, you'd possibly be injected into an old woman's head. when you've had enough and you come out a little baby.
What I mean is, at the moment, you know, my life, I'm going to live to 74, 75, right? So yeah, I'm probably on page, what am I on?
Exclusive. There are not very many. I don't think they even exist, do they? There are no signed photos of Karl, so this will be a collector's item.
Right. So, yeah, there's 3 different ones. When you send it in on email, podcast@rickygervais.com, just put in the subject thing like Rockbusters so I know what I'm looking for. Right then, so three different clues for you to work on. First one.
Oh, shouldn't I do a jingle for this?
Please.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds cryptic. No, I'm not getting
Rockbusters.
Right, first one, the initial, right, is B.
The initial B, band
B,
or artist?
So, band or an artist beginning with the letter B. The cryptic clue, well, I don't want a house that's that far away from the water. I want to be right on top of it. Right, that's the cryptic clue. Well, I don't want a house that far away from the water. I want to be right on top of it. Right? B, artist or band. Who is it? Right, work on that one. Second one, it's B again. B, letter B for the band or the artist.
All right.
Cryptic clue. Right. That part of my leg is English.
That's it, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
That part of my leg is English. Initial B. What is it? Part of my leg is English. And then the last one, KW, artist or band. And the cryptic clue, the fitness teacher has got a speech impediment. What's going on there? Right, KW, fitness teacher has got a speech impediment. Work on them, right? Send in the answers, podcast@rickygervais.com, and just win some signed picture and that.
A signed picture of Karl Pilkington. Also, when you're sending in your answers, or indeed if you don't have the answers but you just want to get in touch, podcast@rickygervais.com. If you've got anything that you think might be of interest to Karl, we're looking for, as Ricky was giving him earlier, scientific facts, stories you've read about, anything which you think might just pique his interest. Send them in, podcast@rickygervais.com.
Well, that's it. That's the end of the first episode of the all-new Ricky Gervais show.
Sounded very similar to the old one.
Yeah.
Why change a winning formula?
Why, exactly. And if you're missing the old ones, the complete archive of all our podcasts are available from next week.
Go to audible.com, find out how to get to it.
Absolutely.
For any of your queries and questions, go to rickygervais.com. That tells you where you need to go for any Ricky Gervais podcasts or the new shows. It's all there. That'll explain it.
So it's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais. Goodbye from Steve Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Hello, welcome to number 3 in the 3rd series of the Ricky Gervais show. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And of course, Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Had a good week, Karl?
All right, just boring. It's a boring week. Because that sort of kidney operation I've had, it's just affecting my life in a big way.
How are you now, Karl? Are you feeling better?
Better than it was last week.
Because last week you really were not putting the effort in, were you?
And it's your own fault. You got kidney stones, you don't drink enough water.
That's what I've been doing this week. Just drinking. You said what sort of a week have you had? What have you been up to? That's what I've done. I've drank water. That's all I've been doing. If there's a water shortage in London, it's because of that. Honestly, that's what you have to do. It's just boring. Just like a basking shark. Just sort of with its mouth open, just going through the water. Sick of it.
Oh, he's led the life of plankton for 1 week.
Have you been able to do anything, or have you just been resting?
It's best to rest. Just because, your body's still in shock, even though in the head, physically, I thought it was all right. The body sort of just acts in weird ways.
Brilliant.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Like I said last week, you don't think about your body until there's something up with it. And then you panic a bit. And you go, right, I'm going to look after it from now on. I've been given a second chance here.
As I said before, this was not a life-threatening illness or operation.
No, but it's that same thing. The last time I had it was when I nearly choked to death on the Mr. Freeze Pop.
Right.
Where I had that sort of, what do they call it when you have like a second coming? Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing where
I don't think you're the second coming.
No, but that thing goes...
If you are, we're all screwed.
You mean the second chance?
Yeah, it's a second chance thing.
Your life flashes before you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you get, you suddenly feel kinder. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, you sort of go, right, you know, that was a bit of a warning. Be
like
good,
Scrooge?
Good to people and stuff. Yeah, a little bit. I think it's normal.
So are you now a nicer person? You're giving more generously to charity and the like?
Well, I haven't been out, so I can't do anything. I can't help anyone.
You go online and...
But maybe, you know, once...
Donate some money, all this cash you're in.
No, I've given enough money away. Sick of it. But,
It changed.
So he hasn't changed at all then, no?
But you've also got to be careful as well, because there's that thing of you can drown yourself by having too much water.
Yeah.
So it's just getting that balance right of not having too much and filling yourself up.
Well, yeah, it's that balance, right, of not dehydrating and, you know, becoming like a desert jellyfish, like a little crisp, and drowning yourself.
Yeah.
You're right, it is a balance. That's exactly what you've got to do.
I don't know how you managed it, Karl. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
No, but
What I do is when I'm thirsty, I drink, and when I'm not thirsty, I don't.
yeah, but that's the problem with me. Whatever it is that's in your head that says you should have a drink, I don't really have one.
It's called a brain.
It's called a brain.
It's the brain that tells you.
But the brain's never thirsty. I only think of drinking when I'm eating. And I'm not eating as much because my kidney's weird. I don't want to put any pressure on it, so I don't drink. So now, if I have it in front of me all the time, I go, right, I've got to have that. So yeah, so I feel, you know, a bit better.
Good.
Just, it's just been a long week. Because when you don't do much, it's just, you know, time doesn't whiz by.
And normally your weeks are packed, as we know, with visits to the cobblers.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like they say, innit? They say...
Following an ant.
Exactly, yeah. You've got a hectic schedule.
I know, I don't know how you fit it all in.
But, you know, because I was close to death and everything...
You weren't close to death.
I've been thinking about, you know, other people who've been in that situation where they're dying and what have you. And it's weird how, like, in a way, do you know, like they say before you die, things to do?
Yeah.
I've never heard that sentence before. I don't know if they say.
Well, I've extrapolated from that. What you mean is there are certain things you should do before you die. Swim with dolphins, etc.
Yeah. But in a way, because I've had such a boring week, it's been a long week. So if I was dying, don't go swim with dolphins because you'll love it and the time will whiz by and you go, oh, there's another day gone. Whereas I've been sat at home watching, you know, Price is Right and stuff. And it's just like, oh, it's only 4 o'clock. Oh, this is dragging. So if I was dying, I'd go, yeah, it's dragging, but I've got ages more left to live.
Yeah.
But what's the point?
But it's only about quality of existence, isn't it, when you're dying?
No, but anyway, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Been a boring week. But what I've been doing is going on the internet, sort of learning stuff, watching more documentaries about stuff.
Yeah. Okay, tell me something you watched on the internet then.
The thing that stands out the most, there's this spider
Right.
that a fella got, popped it in like a little sort of bottle
Yeah.
and chucked in 80 ants. And the spider, right, just went mental. And I don't know if the spiders eat ants. I don't know if they do, but he wasn't happy with them, that they were there. And he was just whizzing around, sort of biting them. Not eating them, just giving them a bite. And the ants would sort of just lie there, dead. And spider had this system of sort of going, right, I'm going to put the dead ones over there. And it was biting them, dragging them across, putting them in a pile, killing another one, popping it in the pile. And by the end of it, it made like a little pile of dead ants. He was just there sort of breathing heavily. And that was amazing, because I've never witnessed that before. But you don't see that happening, do you, normally?
So you think that if people are unfortunately passing away, sort of visiting Disneyland or whatever, they should
just learn stuff. Just
sure, get on the internet and watch
this
spiders
world is amazing.
attacking ants.
And just that thing of, you know, last week you were saying how good ants were and how they're brainy and they work hard and everything. Yet none of them sort of, they didn't know what they were doing. There's panic going on. You watch them again, they're running backwards and forwards, and I remember like seeing a programme about ants where they're meant to sort of work together as a team, and if they climb up a person's leg, that person stood on their house, say, and they're all like, oh.
There's a signal and they all bite at the same time.
At once. Now, if that had done that on that spider, they sort of all go on it, and when they're all in position, one of them sort of goes, no, and it bites, and then it would do some damage, but there was none of that.
But you've seen things like the Towering Inferno, where even humans panic crazily and jump out of windows and things until Steve McQueen comes along and saves the day. So,
yeah, but at the end of the day, when you're in a Towering Inferno, you were there relaxing on holiday. So, of course, you're going to be relaxed, and the shock of it's going to make you go, oh, I wasn't ready for that, I was sat here in my trunks. Whereas ants should always be alert.
Well, yeah.
Any insect's life should always be...
What, so for a human scooping up 80 of them, putting them in a bottle with a giant spider?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what insects do. Their life, they never relax. That's what's weird with an insect. There's no downtime, is there? It's you wake up, you go and get the food, you build your house. That's what you do, so you're always alert. They shouldn't be sort of running around going, well, what do we do now? That should be in them.
I love that you were annoyed at these poor ants that were bitten to death.
But also, they say they're clever. I was looking at it. If I was an ant, I would have just crawled under the pile of dead ones. Just sit under there, wait for the spider to go. None of them were doing that. They were all staying on one side and the dead ones on the other. So I'm just saying that, you know, you're always sticking up for insects, saying they know what they're doing. They don't.
Where's this come from? When have I ever stuck up for insects? It's you just follow them and saying they're brilliant and that, and ladybirds are right-handed and Christ knows what.
No, but, you know, so I'd learnt that.
Brilliant. You haven't learned anything.
There's nothing to learn from that.
There's nothing you learned from that.
Something about jellyfish, and what else was there? There was a programme on the telly about survival, and a fella who he looks after elephants, and he's in this little hang glider looking for an elephant that he's looking after. He has to keep a track on where it's going and all that. And one day he's saying, oh, I haven't seen the elephant today, and the fella's like, look for it tomorrow. He's like, no, it's best if I go and look for it now, because it might go further away or something. He said, oh, I should leave it, you know, till tomorrow. So straight away you're going, oh, this is trouble. So he's going out in his glider, sort of at night. He's looking for...
I doubt it's a glider.
It's a glider with an engine. It's one of
light aircraft then.
Yeah. So he gets in that on his own. He's wandering about in the air, looking down. Like I say, it's loads of land. He's looking for one elephant. He's not having much luck. Anyway, I think he gets to a point when he goes, oh, no, look, I might as well go home. Goes to turn round. Something happens. The glider falls to the floor, crashes. Yeah, that crashes. He gets out. He's broke his legs. Done his back in. Hurt his hands. I mean, he's in a bad way. And he looks at the plane, and that's a wreck. Petrol's coming out of it. He's thinking that's not going to fly again. And he has to lie there, doesn't he, for like 48 hours or something. And in that time, everything's being chucked at him. He has a lion wandering around him. A scorpion walked over his leg. Some sort of dangerous snake went in his shoe. What else is there out there? Some sort of bad ants. Just everything that's there that could cause a problem. He had it all in his life.
I haven't seen this, but I suspect there's a lot of conjecture. And it's telling of it. Bad ants.
No, just anything that you could think of that's out there to cause you a bit of a problem.
Camels.
He got hot. He got so hot his lips fell off. No, because you have to have a lot of juice to keep your lips sort of how they are.
Right.
So that's the sort of state he was in.
Yeah.
48 hours. And yet he survived in the end. Someone came and found him.
And you thought you were bored doing nothing?
Yeah, no, well,
he didn't even have the internet.
Yeah, but he had a lot of insects.
What would you do then if you landed, right? Supposing we all land, right? We're shipwrecked, okay? There's no food around. But there's a chance we might be saved, like in a few days. We just got to stay alive just for a few days, okay? Steve offers up his penis.
For what purpose?
Well, it's already you've torn it in the car in the plane crash. Anyways, it's hanging off. You go, okay, listen, lads, let's eat this. Let's go 3 ways.
I should be so lucky. Okay, fine, yeah.
I'll look for something else. Because we're surrounded by water. Why are we eating knob? There's loads of fish and everything. There's more fish in the sea than there is stuff on land. That's something else that I've read about how there's more sea life happening. There's loads more.
What do you mean? Than what?
Than stuff happening on land.
Well, yeah, it's a bigger place, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's more. They're all coming further in because it's getting so crowded. Everything's being pushed outwards. So we're going to get to a point where people won't go walking in the sea because there'll be something deadly just floating about on near the shore.
Again, that's no information at all.
I don't know.
There's no information in that statement at all.
Yeah, I said how the sea is so overcrowded that everything's being pushed to the edge.
It's not overcrowded.
It is.
You mean things that are in the sea are being pushed to the edge of the sea?
Yeah, because there's new stuff happening all the time. There's new creatures being made, they're changing quickly. They were saying I don't know, 50 years ago, jellyfish didn't even have a sting.
That's rubbish. Try 50 million and you'll get closer to the truth.
But what I mean is, in terms of, like, land, we all look the same, don't we? We've had 2 legs and 2 arms for ages. Whereas in the sea, things are changing at a really fast rate. So, like, jellyfish we're knocking about.
The sea is a much more stable environment than the land anyway.
What are you on about?
Well, I wouldn't have thought evolution is any faster in the sea than land.
Yeah, it is.
Well, no, what's the evidence for this?
Well, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you how jellyfish have changed. And look at them.
And how have they changed then? So 50 years ago they didn't have a sting. Yeah. Now they have.
Yeah.
Trilbies, they wore trilbies 50 years ago as well.
And they just spoke with a much more, refined accent.
Just that is quite a lot though, isn't it? Because jellyfish are nothing.
But no, you've made that up. That's not a fact. There's no facts come out of this discussion. Not that's interesting. That you haven't said anything. Jellyfish haven't changed in 50 years.
No, they have. They've changed a lot in terms of...
Well, they haven't changed in hundreds of millions of years, so I don't know what the 60s have to do with anything. I just don't know what influence the Beatles and Mary Quant suddenly had on jellyfish when they haven't changed for hundreds of millions of years.
With all this sort of loose, free sex, free love, they were just going berserk.
No, yeah.
There were no inhibitions amongst the jellyfish anymore.
Things are changing a lot. To think that jellyfish, when they first came out, they were nothing. Jellyfish are nothing, aren't they? They're just a blob. So
when they first came out, when they were first released,
you by your own hell.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, even though they were nothing, they've grown to have a bit of something, just to get by in a busy place.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all guesswork and conjecture.
It's not guesswork. I've been
it's all nonsense.
I've been reading all this and watching stuff.
Carl, you haven't learned anything.
Well, that's not entirely true because he's obviously learnt enough to have written a poem about some of these subjects.
Oh, I love his poems. Are you getting into poetry now, properly?
I really like it, yeah.
Is Carl going to read this for me, Steve?
If you want him to.
I think so.
I did one about my kidneys.
What was it called?
Didn't have a name, it doesn't need it.
Ode to a nephron.
Right, I did 2 about jellyfish.
Excellent.
I don't like jellyfish. They're not a fish, they're just a blob. They don't have eyes, fins or scales like a cod. They float about blind, stinging people in the seas, and no one eats jellyfish with chips and mushy peas. Get rid of them. And then there's just a short one I did about jellyfish. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
It certainly would.
That's great! That's really good! Because it's jelly. He's done us this.
Yeah.
That's a really good poem. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
Yeah.
A little half rhyme?
Yeah.
Do you want the one about my kidneys?
Yeah.
For God's sake, me belly ache. The doctor said it's my kidney. He said he's got to stick a tube up my knob. I said, you got to be kidding me. For God's sake, knob ache.
Oh, God! I'm so mildly disappointed that they're quite good.
Yeah.
No poet's ever written about jellyfish and kidneys. It's great. Oh, God, I think you might have the market sewn up there. It would be spiteful to put a jellyfish in a trifle. I mean, I'm both impressed and fascinated and worried by Karl's new literary outlook.
Yeah.
You know, we've said to him, we've tried to make him appreciate the arts and poetry and explaining like what metaphor does and symbolism and all that. But I'm worried it'll backfire, because what if he becomes clever and erudite and then we lose our little endless well of stupidity? What if we lose our little shaved monkey? I mean, these podcasts without,
It's almost like you were evolving into a human.
I mean, you've authored a book.
Well, I have to say, I mean, without at the risk of sounding like we're shamelessly promoting it, I've only just looked at the book today, because that's the first time I've seen it, The World of Karl Pilkington, and I was very impressed by how legitimate it feels. I mean, it does feel like an actual
Well,
book.
he's put so much work into it. I mean,
He's done drawings, he's done extra thoughts and ideas, and it's very odd to think that has probably gone now into the British Library, which I think is obligated to take a copy of every book published.
Incredible.
I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to be on anyone's bookshelf. It'll be on their lavatory cistern, possibly next to their bed. But nevertheless, it's hardback and it's got pages. It's a real book.
Yeah.
will you now read some great works? Will you read poetry at all?
Probably not. I don't like reading made-up stories, because
Fiction.
life's interesting enough, isn't it?
Right.
If I'm going to read someone else's lies, I might as well make some of my own up and save me money, is what I mean.
But you do read lies and made-up things. You just take them as the truth. Most of the spurious facts and apocryphal tales and ridiculous stories that you read on the internet are, fiction.
Yeah, but as long as it gets you thinking, then it really doesn't matter. Say I was telling you about the sea being full up,
Yeah.
right? How there's too many fish in it and they're all being pushed out. Then, it was saying about how the jellyfish is changing from a bit back just being a blob to now being a blob with stingy bits. You go, and then...
No, I don't. I wonder what he read.
And then I'll think of what other things are in the sea, how are they changing? And then that's when I might do a poem about an octopus with two heads. Because it's got me thinking. So no longer am I just reading someone else's story, spending a full week reading some other story. I've read a little paragraph, and that's got me thinking about
It's inspired you to make great art.
with an octopus with two heads. And you just think, yeah, that would work. That's a good way for them to evolve. They've got all the arms, give them two heads.
They've got all the arms.
And, it would work, because like I've said to you before, it is one big head to make it two smaller heads. So it's just looking at science, looking at how things can move.
It's not looking at
It's not
science.
looking at science. You then speculating on an octopus having two heads is of no value, is it, to anyone or anything?
But there's people out there who are bringing out books who are writing stuff like that for sci-fi stuff. And I think, why am I reading
But that's
that?
entertainment. Everyone knows it's not true. They're doing it to...
But they do more than just say, wouldn't it be great if there was an octopus with two heads? They then paint a world in which this octopus exists and presumably causes some kind of narrative interest.
I can do that on my own, though. Without...
So what's the story of the octopus with two heads?
It's happier in the end. Everyone likes happy ending. He's got company.
But that's not a story, Carl. What? Tell us the story.
What, you made up a story about an octopus with two heads?
No, I'm just saying... I've thought about how the sea's changing. Right, what else is in the sea? Octopus. Right, what's an octopus like? Well, it's just a big head with a load of arms. Right, how would I change that?
I love this thought process.
But it's not a story. This is not a story. It's not anything. It's just some thoughts you've had. It's not...
A story is there to make you think and have thoughts.
But what is it that you thought? You've not... I don't see what you've thought here.
I've just thought, yeah, that'd be alright.
I know,
Well, like King Kong then. That's only someone who's gone, oh, monkeys are getting better at stuff.
Yes, but it has a story, doesn't it? They go in search...
No, it isn't. It isn't saying monkeys are getting better at stuff. That's not what it's saying. There's lots of themes, but that's not one of them.
Monkeys are getting better at stuff.
No, they're getting better at stuff. The way he tried to go out with a woman.